right, good morning or good afternoon. I'm not sure when this video is going to come out. It's already almost 10 a.m. where I'm at. So I want to talk about some news. This doesn't really, it's not a focus of this channel, but it may fall under the food aspect, the food, being able to afford to eat, being able to afford essentials, being comfortable versus being stressed and uncomfortable because you don't have the things you need or the things that, make you happy. So let's talk about some recent news that was breaking all weekend. I didn't have time to deal with it. I was doing other stuff. But this affects mostly the U.S., but also Canada and Mexico so far. And if you're not aware of it, I'm going to pull up a few articles as non-biased as I can. I'm not having real good luck with that. That's the other reason that it's literally Monday and I didn't put something up like Saturday or Sunday night. Because I want non-biased, non-opinionated news articles, and those are very, very, very hard to find these days. But we're going to look at these tariffs that are coming back into style. So let's take a look at these tariffs and what a tariff is and how they might affect us. All right, so let's find some tariff articles. My keyword was obviously Trump tariffs. So well, let's see what the White House has to say about it first. So this is the fact sheet from President Donald J. Trump. Imposes tariffs on imports from Canada, Mexico, and China. This was February 1, 2025, so this was 3 days ago, Saturday. From what I've been able to glean from other sources, kind of the headlines that I've read, there's going to be more coming, but don't know what it's going to be exactly. So it says, addressing an emergency situation, the extraordinary threat posed by illegal aliens and drugs, including fentanyl, constitutes a national emergency under the International Emergency Economic Powers Act. I don't know what that is. We may look it up in this video, we may not. Politics and laws and regulations like this is not my forte, but I thought we might want to explore it together since we're all about, budgeting and living on a tight budget. This could make our budgets even tighter, and I'm concerned about that, so I want to get this information out. So, until the crisis is alleviated, the crisis outlined here, the illegal aliens, which for the last several years they've been called undocumented migrants. Illegal aliens was the term prior to that. All right, so under the crisis, until the crisis is alleviated, President Donald J. Trump is implementing a 25% additional tariff on imports from Canada and Mexico, and an additional 10% tariff on imports from China. Energy resources from Canada will have a lower 10% tariff. So let's find out what a tariff is. So this is what I pulled up. What is a tariff? And it pulls up a bunch of news articles. That's not what I wanted. I wanted the definition. Oh, wait, it's over here. Okay, a tariff. A tariff is a tax imposed by the government of a country or by a no way I'm pronouncing that. Some type of union on imports or exports of goods. Besides being a source of revenue for the government, import duties can be a form of regulation of foreign trade and policy that taxes foreign products to encourage or safeguard domestic industry. So the assumption here is that Trump is trying to rebuild the American industry. Buy American. Remember that in the 80s? Walmart had a big thing in the 80s and 90s about all their stuff was American made, or a great big bunch of it. All right, I was trying to see if there was a thing about when Walmart did their Made in America thing, and it's nowhere. It pulled up Sam Walton's book, and I'm not going to dig through that. Let's try Time Magazine. So it says, President Donald Trump has made good on his campaign promise to impose tariffs on imports from the United States. The United States' three largest supplier countries, Canada, China, and Mexico. Trump signed orders on Saturday evening imposing 25% tariffs on, we've already seen this. Trump discussed tariffs in a series of posts on his social media platform, Truth Social, which is totally a nothing platform. There's nothing going on there, except maybe listening to Trump. I actually created an account there thinking there might be writers there. There are none. There are none. Like, I have no idea who's on Truth Social. I can't find anybody. It's like the most unsocial social network I've ever seen. Like, I signed up for Truth Social and that Blue Sky thing, like, almost on the same day. I still only have 3 followers on Truth Social, and my Blue Sky is up to 56. If I would work on that some more, I could probably have some more followers on Blue Sky, but Truth Social, Jesus. It's like antisocial. All right, so let's get back to this. In a second post, Trump included a video of himself on the campaign trail where he promised the tariffs he is now imposing. Okay, I already knew about that. Though tariffs have been used as useful tools by politicians, consumers and economists are concerned about whether, just weeks into Trump's term, his tariffs could raise prices of goods and services. Concerned? Of course they're going to raise the prices. But from what I can tell, it isn't about raising the prices. It's about getting companies to come back to the U.S. so that we can have more than this awful service economy that we've got that pays nothing. Used to be, and I'll just tell you a story, I guess. My grandpa worked for RCA as a machinist. He made good money. He and my grandma raised 5 kids, and they had a considerable amount of money by the time they were in their 50s. Just off his job. She didn't work. Now what? You both have to work retail jobs at $15 an hour and you still can't make it. That's ridiculous. Man, it's 10:20 in the morning. I forgot to eat breakfast this morning. I got up and started checking my metrics and saw that comment. Had to release a different video, and now I'm onto this video. Now I have my bowl of cereal. All right, so back to it. So my grandpa worked for RCA as a machinist, and he made good money. I have another, second aunt, twice removed, who worked in a car manufacturing plant. And I do believe that car manufacturing plant was in Indianapolis and it moved to Kentucky. I think that's the story, but I don't know because it's hearsay from hearsay from hearsay. But she, technically, supposedly, moved with the car manufacturing plant. She's done very well working at the car manufacturing plant. And I don't know if she's retired or not, but she made good money doing that. And my dad, when he was younger, worked at a bakery. The bakery moved, and we didn't. I don't know why, but we did not. And we struggled from that point on. The minute Dad lost his bakery job, we went from being kind of lower middle class to poverty class real quick. Mom was a LPN. It stands for licensed practical nurse. She always used to call it lowest paid nurse. We never did well, even on her nursing salary, after Dad lost his bakery job. It was just over. We were poverty class from then on. So what's the lesson here? Well, the 2 people that I know that got to keep their manufacturing jobs did very well. And the one person that I know that lost their factory job didn't do so well. So there you have it. So that's what I think these tariffs are going to do if we let them ride long enough. That's the thing. If everybody throws a fit and the courts decide that these are illegal, which kind of seems like what they're doing, we might get into that with some news articles and may not. But, they have to run. They have to run. We have to see that money, and we have to feel that pain, I guess, and not buy those things because they're going to be too expensive. Well, if we don't buy those things, the companies are going to be like, oh no, our bottom line, our investors. And they're going to come back here. And they're going to build their factories here. And they're going to train people here. And then we're going to have some jobs that are beyond, working at a gas station, working at Walmart, working at Wendy's, working at Arby's, working at Culver's, working as a waitress. And then, especially for jobs that are traditionally tipped, people get mad. They're busting their butts on these tip jobs, and nobody's tipping. Well, when's the last time you went out to eat and had extra money beyond the cost of the meal? It's probably been a couple years. And the cost of living is just going up, 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 up. And in the 90s, I actually walked into a Denny's and applied for a job. I got it. And then they told me it would be $2.14 an hour plus tips. Oh, and I had to buy my own apron and shoes and pants and shirts and everything else. And I'm sitting here going, I got to spend like $300 on stuff. And you're going to pay me $2.14 an hour. So I got to work 140 hours, and it's not going to be 40 hours a week. It probably would have been, 10. I was in college at the time. I got to work 14 months to pay for the shoes and the apron and the shirt. Man, I am straight out of there so fast. And they wanted to convince me that the tips would make it all worthwhile. No thank you. Pay me or don't. And it looks like the answer here is you're not gonna. But people work those jobs and then they get mad when they don't get tipped. And things just get more and more expensive. Well, think about this. What if you were able to get a job that trained you for manufacturing and machining, and they were paying you $35 an hour? So you'd make $1,400 a week, or $72,000 a year. Do you think you might be able to do something with that? So do you think maybe you could live off $72,000 a year? And some of you may be like, nah, man, I can't do that now. Yes, there are going to be some places where that's not going to be enough. But if I had made $72,000 a year, I'd be living high on the hog, let me tell you. I would have my house, I would have my car, I would have my RV, I would have food in the fridge, I would have good medical insurance. I could really do a lot with $72,000 a year. So, maybe you'd still have to budget. I'd be like throwing a party every weekend. Because that's 3 times more than I earn now. Ooh, it's more than 3 times more than I earn now. So if I were able to get one of those machining jobs and they trained me and all of that, I would be living high on the hog. And you might be thinking, well, how long is this going to take? Well, folks, this started when I was just a little kid, okay? So we're talking they've done 40 plus years of damage. Can they get us back in 5 years? Maybe. 10 years? I think we'll be about there 10 years from now. And the thing is, it's 2025 now. What were you doing in 2015? Some of you are going to be like, I was retiring, and some of you are going to be like, I was graduating high school, and some of you are going to be like, I just finished 8th grade, right? But, what were you doing 10 years ago, and then what are you doing today? And then how long has that time felt? Has it felt like a lot of time? Just a little bit of time? For me, 2015, like, it's been a little while, but not a long while. I don't feel like it's been a long while. So if by 2035, if we've done this, I think we'll be in a much better position. And you may be thinking at this point, but Stacy, I can't handle any higher prices. Look, I know where you're coming from. My electric bill is now sitting at about $400, and my gas bill is sitting at about $500 for this winter. Where am I going to get that money? Because LHEAP decided that the electric bill for the entire winter is going to be $75, and my gas bill should be $150. They're dreaming, okay? They're dreaming. And they haven't even paid that yet. That's the crazy thing. So, and if you are struggling with your electric and heating, you can apply for heating assistance. Let me pull that up. You can still apply for it. Let me pull that up. I know that doesn't have anything to do with tariffs, but we are talking about struggling too. Let's talk about heating assistance. Okay, in Indiana, it's the, shut up, Energy Assistance Program. This is LHEAP. This is what I did. USA.gov, get help with energy bills. Right there. Okay. LHEAP or LIHEAP or whatever it is, look it up for your state. You may be eligible for a little bit of money. The dollar amounts that you can make per month are different depending on where you live. I think in my area you can make up to $2,300 a month, and you're still eligible for LHEAP. So if you need heating assistance, look it up and apply. It's really not that hard. And there's no hassle after that. They either give you the money or they don't. Well, they don't give it to you. They give it to your utility company, but there you go. So if you're worried about that, there's that. All right, so let's go back to this article here. I'm being long-winded this morning. I don't know if I should apologize or not. So many voters described grocery prices, and that's what we handle on this channel, grocery prices and fiction, so that you can get out of reality. God, because so much even as a writer, I have spent way too much time in reality. My goal for today is to work on my book, the horror of the Tazumari Greed statue, and or go for a bike ride just for the sake of going for a bike ride. But anyway, they're worried about the rising prices of groceries, gas, energy, and cars. Cars have been unaffordable for several years. I don't know anybody that's going to pay $50,000 for the equivalent of a Yugo. Okay? So they can take that and shove it where the sun don't shine. But with a heightened sense of focus on tariffs and discussions about the potential benefits and risks, they say, here's what you need to know. Okay. So, simply put, import tariffs are taxes placed on goods imported from other countries. There are also export taxes, which are taxes on goods brought out of a country, though these are much more rare. Okay. So they have import and export taxes. Interesting. We didn't do enough economics when I was in high school. I hope they've improved that over the years. Okay, and it says there are several different types of tariffs. The kind that Trump is imposing is known as an ad valorem tariff, meaning the tax on imported goods is calculated as a percentage of the product's value. So if we're importing those, what are they? I'm going to look them up. Crumpets, that's what I was trying to think of. So let's say that these crumpets, and I know they come from England, not Canada or Mexico, But I was trying to think of a foreign product. Unfortunately, this is the one that I bought, had a little extra money, bought some. They were delicious. But let's say, for the sake of argument, that these crumpets have a tariff, and they probably do. Boy, I wish it would stop doing that. And they probably do, but they're $9.99. So let's say that when they're brought into the country, each pack is valued at $9.99. And now we're gonna make it put a 25% tariff on it, 0.25. So each pack of crumps will get a $2.50 tax added to it. And if you got like 100,000 of those, we get $249,750 for that load of crumpets. Now the suck part will be if that $9.99 turns into, well, is it still affordable at $12.48? I don't know, because I think $9.99 is high. So that's kind of how that works. And I am not sponsored by Duffy's Crumpets. That was just the one I was looking for, crumpets. All right. So, who pays for tariffs? Tariffs are paid by domestic importers and paid to U.S. Customs and Borders Protection. However, economists often say that the portions of the cost of tariffs ends up being paid by consumers. In response to tariffs, sellers may hike up prices of the goods that they are importing for customers. And that's what I was just saying, if a packet of crumpets was $10 and it had a $2.50 tax on it, chances are they're going to want you to pay $12.50. And less people are going to buy crumpets at $12.50 than they are at $10. This means that the contract for crumpets will have to be renegotiated because sales will go down, which means the price needs to go down, which means the basic cost of the crumpets needs to go down. And I want y'all to know that this is my opinion, and I am theorizing. I am not an economist, okay? And nobody right now knows what's going to happen. But I'm saying the other factor that's going to factor into this is supply and demand. As prices go up, demand goes down. So supply goes up, so prices go down, right? Right. Okay, so here we go. We have an economist that says, generally, it will make it more costly to import goods, says Felix Tintelnot, Associate Professor of Economics at Duke University. With the one caveat, it's conceivable that the foreign exporter could reduce its price in order to maintain competitiveness and not lose out. And there's what I just said. Supply and demand also play a factor. If you're not going to buy crumpets at $12.50, then they need to go back and renegotiate the contract so that the end merchant can still sell them for $9.99 even with the tariffs. So in the end, it should drive prices down. My opinion, backed up by the Associate Professor of Economics at Duke University. Okay, good. They did the avocados example. I don't buy avocados because they're too expensive. I'm not going to pay $2.50 for a freaking avocado. It's not happening. They're already through the roof. And I really love guacamole. Really love it. But it says, for example, since avocados are mostly imported from Mexico, with Trump's new tariffs potentially making it more expensive to import avocados, grocery stores will raise prices of avocados to make up for the added tax. But here's the deal. You can also go back to the avocado producer, the guy that's importing the avocados and then selling them to everybody at all the grocery stores. And they can be like, dude, nobody's buying a $5 avocado. We got to renegotiate this price. There you go. So, why is Trump in favor of the tariffs? Trump has said that he planned to impose tariffs on imported goods to boost American manufacturing and end what he says unfair trade practices. I don't know what the current trade practices are. If you are in the trade industry and you understand trade practices? Let us all know in the comments what they currently are, because I don't know. I'm not going to research the trade because that's another rabbit hole. And we're already kind of going down the rabbit hole here. So here we go. You see these empty, old, beautiful steel mills and factories that are empty and falling down. Trump declared on October 2024 on the campaign trail. We're going to bring the companies back. We're going to lower taxes for companies that are going to make their products in the USA. And we're going to protect those companies with strong tariffs. So basically, they want to bring back American steel. They want to bring back American parts. They want to bring back American-made everything. And I saw, boy, I don't know where I saw it. It must have been on another YouTube video. It was late last night. I was kind of going through all the YouTube videos that I normally watch. So they were talking about wood. And he was talking about wood imports from Canada. Well, we got lots of wood here. And we got lots of forest fires here. And the comment was, well, maybe we should send the loggers back up the mountain to cut down the trees. Maybe we should let the cows graze in the forest to get rid of the underbrush. Cows, goats, things like that. So that we have less forest fires. You think maybe that's a good idea? Maybe. It might be. I don't know. That was what was in the video. What I've always heard is that the Forest Service used to clear the underbrush, and that helped prevent forest fires, and now they don't do it anymore. That's what I always heard. I never heard the how. So, a bilateral trade deficit is a terrible metric to focus on because it's completely natural that bilateral trade deficits exist. Tyndall not said. It's like if you put a tariff on your local gym because you're paying them more than they're buying from you. Okay. Interesting statement. The tariffs are also intended to stop the flow of undocumented immigrants and illegal drugs into the United States. So China makes fentanyl, gives it to Mexico, puts it through Canada, puts it through different places, mostly Mexico, but also a lot through Canada, Trump claimed. I don't know. Now, I know this is correct. I don't know about the rest of this. So here we go. Based on a 2024 study conducted by the Peterson Institute for International Economics, Trump's larger proposed tariff hikes could increase the annual cost to U.S. consumers by $2,600 a year. And it could hit lower income Americans the hardest. That's us, right? That's us. So $2,600 extra a year is $216 more a month. I don't have it. So while I believe that in the long term, these will be good, I don't have that. I'm already struggling, and I'm sure a lot of you guys are too. So what's going to happen is we're going to have to cut back even further. You know, if you're shopping at an expensive grocery store, you may need to scale it back. If you're shopping at a mid-level grocery store like Kroger, you may have to scale it back to Aldi's and Walmart. Yuck. Or Meijer. If, I was already there. I was shopping at Dollar General. So you may want to go on to the food pantry. And you might want to do this sooner rather than later. Because if you're getting a lot of food from the food pantry, you need less from the grocery store. This means that you can stock up. And that's kind of the point of this. The prices are going to go up, and I think they're going to go up fairly rapidly. So we, as poor people, need to start stocking up too. And I know I just started my No Fritter February, but within your February budget, try and both scale back and ramp up. Try and get some back stock in your pantry, because $216 extra a month, I don't have it. And there's a good chance you don't have it either. So do what you can to stock up now while prices are still relatively low. And then maybe the pain will be mostly over by the middle of 2026. We can hope, or at least it should be resolving. Remember, once prices go up and demand goes down, they're going to have to renegotiate those contracts. Because you're not going to make any money if you were selling 1,000 widgets and now you're only selling 100 widgets. You got to renegotiate that contract, because let's say a company's making $2 on every widget. So they have 1,000 times $2. So they make $2,000 on a load of 1,000 widgets. But they had to raise prices on the consumer end. So now, they're not selling 1,000 widgets in a month. They're only selling 250 widgets. So now the company doesn't need to place an order every month. They need to place an order every 4 months. So now the front company, who was making $2,000 a month, is now only making $500 a month. And they're having to lay off workers, this, that, and the other thing. Oh, things are bad. So now they need to go back and say, hey, we got to do something about these prices. I know I was making $2 a widget. Can we renegotiate the contract and I'll make $1 a widget? So they renegotiate the contract for $1 a widget. The company is now making $1,000 instead of $2,000. But now they're selling 750 widgets a month. So now they need 3,000 widgets every 4 months. And this means that the end company's income has gone from $2,000 every month to $3,000 every month. Now, of course, within hours of the tariffs being stated, the other companies are playing tit for tat. I don't know, I don't blame them, whatever. So they're going to put tariffs on our stuff. All right, fine. So then you're going to get less U.S. stuff. But then we'll have a surplus here, so we'll get it cheaper, right? Maybe? Again, I don't know. So, okay, so here we go. The USA has major deficits with Canada, Mexico, and China. $36 trillion, and we're not going to be the stupid country any longer. Okay. Trump says it'll be worth the price it must be paid. It might be. It might be. God. I don't know if they're being funny or not, but Trump then specifically targeted Canada in another post, suggesting the country should become the United States' 51st state. Oh my God. Okay, that's funny. And they say we don't need anything from them. All right. But, so there's the tariffs. What I didn't come across was what it's going to affect. Let's see if there's a list somewhere. We got Fox, NBC, and CNN. Oh, yeah. Let's start here. I don't understand this one. China only gets a 10% tariff. I don't understand that. Is there no list? This article. Okay, this article's stupid. Let's try this. I don't like Fox News, but alright, here we go. Cars and trucks, but who's buying a new car or a new truck? Are you? Gas prices, why? We have all that shit down in Texas. Well, anyway, gas prices could rise. So I guess, I just got a trike bike. Maybe y'all should get one too. They don't cost anything. Mine isn't even electric. It's just Stacy powered. You could buy a bike too and have it be you powered. Avocados and other produce. I wish they would elaborate. Maybe I'll look up Mexican vegetables. Beer, tequila, and Canadian whiskey. Yuck. Smartphones and laptops. Yeah, but they only got a 10% tariff. Well, then we'll be buying fewer smartphones and laptops. This is ridiculous. They get a 10% tariff, but this is going to be the end result. Somebody's gimme, greedy. Well, this could be solved. We have our own forests. It says home construction could get more expensive. Well, who the hell's buying a house? I had somebody comment, and I didn't respond to it, but I'll respond to it right here. They were like, well, you can't buy a house in 1, 2, 3, or 5 years. Well, unbeknownst to them, they highlighted the problem. That's the problem. If you can't save enough money to put a down payment on a house in a year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, that's part of the problem. Who wants to save $20,000 or $30,000 over 10 years? What's the point? That's like you graduate college at 21 years old and you still cannot buy a house until you are in your 30s. The human lifespan is not infinite. Okay, that needs to stop. One of the things they really, really need to do is get investors out of the single family home market. They need to go. They need to get gone immediately. I had 2 dreams when I was a kid, as far as my living situation went. I was going to live in a shack next to the ocean or a large body of water. One of my favorite cartoons was Tailspin, and I was going to be like Baloo, flying cargo runs in a seaplane, living in a shack. Sounded great to me. The other dream was I was going to go to college and cha-ching through life, like they said, and I was going to get my mansion and car and chef and driver and all this other stuff I was going to get. At nowhere in any point in time was any of those dreams living in a double-wide trailer on somebody else's land getting charged way too much money. No dream did I ever say would be that. So I've pretty much given up on the mansion with the staff, and I'm kind of going back to the shack on a lake. But here's the thing. Nobody grows up going, I want to live in a shack on a lake, unless you're me. Or in today's world, nobody grows up going, I want to live in a tiny house. I want to live in a mobile home. I want to live in an RV. Who says that? No one says that. Circumstances, prices, and other garbage put people in situations like that. Because it's like I said a couple videos back. The only way you're going to make a difference in your life is if you can save thousands of dollars a month. So here's what people do. They say, I have this much money. If I get rid of my house bill, my electric bill, my gas bill, and I get a used car and I get rid of that car bill, and I move into a tiny home or I move into an RV, I could save thousands of dollars a month and get my house, right? That's why people are doing it. They're having to take super, super extreme measures to get the American dream. That's ridiculous. And we can hope that these tariffs kind of help with that problem. Because we've been saying for years that the American dream is dead. It pretty much is. Unless you're literally willing to live on the street and take showers at the gym to save money. And here's the other problem with living on someone else's land. They can dictate what you do with the land. Here, in the lease, you can sit your house on the land, but my God, don't do anything else except the maintenance because we're too lazy to do it. So you can work on the land, but you can't have a garden. You can't have a greenhouse. And the roads, they're only for motor vehicles. So technically, I can't even ride my trike bike on their roads. I guess I'm supposed to hover above the road. It's like rent our grass, but stay off of it. So anyway, that's my rant on housing, but higher tariffs on Canadian lumber would raise the cost for builders. Yeah, we have plenty of lumber here. So there it is. Auto repairs and parts could become more costly. Yes, until we get parts manufacturers here. Yeah, absolutely. Toys and video game consoles may see price jumps because of China. Well, make do. We made up our own toys most of the time. Household appliances could cost more. I guess they need to bring back the Maytag repairman. American farmers could suffer from retaliatory tariffs. So Canada and Mexico are major buyers of U.S. farm exports. Yeah, but what food do we get from Mexico, and can it be grown here? Avocados, I bet they can be grown in southern Florida and southern California. I bet you anything. Tomatoes grow just fine in Indiana. In fact, they grow pretty much everywhere. Bell peppers grow well in Indiana, so they're going to grow anywhere south. Strawberries, same thing. Raspberries, I do believe we have raspberries and blueberry bushes in Indiana because I have picked them. They grow wild here. So that shit grows in Indiana. It's going to grow anywhere south too. So I guess farmers need to switch to raspberries, bell peppers, and strawberries. So Mexico made up 69% of all U.S. vegetable imports and 51% of fresh fruit. We have beer here in the United States. We do. Just go to a microbrewery. The beer is here. They're not really saying what it is. But I'm guessing if U.S. farmers switch to as much of whatever was produced in Mexico here, it wouldn't be a problem. In fact, I was thinking about that last night. You know, what if I moved down to, someplace warmer and started an avocado farm? Or a tomato farm? Or a blueberry, blackberry, strawberry farm? So anyway, that's the end of that article. And I think that's the end of what I have to say about it. Again, this whole video was my opinion, and my thoughts on the matter. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. And as always, thank you for watching. If you liked this video, please like and subscribe, and I will talk to you later.